Imagine driving through the quiet forest just outside the abandoned city of Pripyat, and suddenly a massive metal wall rises before you, a colossal array of lattice towers stretching hundreds of meters into the sky and spanning longer than a football field. This is DUGA, one of the most mysterious relics of the Cold War, now standing silent in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. An enigmatic monument of Soviet military might and technological ambition. DUGA was not built to explore space or communicate with distant ships. It was built to listen for the end of the world. During the height of the Cold War, the Soviet Union feared a sudden launch of intercontinental ballistic missiles from the United States. Construction began in the early 1970s, and the station began operating around 1982, becoming one of the Soviet Union's best-kept military secrets. For decades, its physical presence and its invisible signal was shrouded in secrecy. Unlike traditional radar that sends a pulse of energy in a straight line, DUGA exploited the Earth's ionosphere, a layer of charged particles high in the atmosphere. Powerful radio waves from the station would bounce off the ionosphere and travel thousands of kilometers, then reflect back down toward Earth. If a missile were launched, the disturbance it caused in the ionosphere could change the returning signal, allowing operators to detect a launch long before it approached Soviet soil. Although DUGA was secret, its signals were not. Starting in the late 1970s, shortwave radio operators around the world began hearing a peculiar repetitive tapping sound that blasted across radio bands like someone hammering a wooden rhythm at lightning speed. Western radio hobbyists dubbed it the Russian woodpecker. Before we go further, listen closely. This is not music. This is not Morse code. This is the sound of DUGA. For radio listeners around the world, this sound meant one thing. The Soviet Union was listening. The signal interfered with radio communications and became a source of both frustration and fascination for listeners worldwide, a ghostly audio signature of a hidden radar watching from the forest. DUGA was not an isolated antenna farm. It was part of a larger secret military community known as Chernobyl II. Around the DUGA radar stood a small town with apartment buildings, schools, a fire station, community centers, and playgrounds, home to the personnel who operated and maintained the station along with their families. Inside the control buildings were huge analog computers and control consoles, complex machines representing the highest level of Soviet engineering at the time. In April 1986, the explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant changed everything. While the initial catastrophe did not directly destroy DUGA, the radioactive fallout poisoned the surrounding territory. Personnel were evacuated and operations at the station gradually ceased. With no electricity and no operators, the massive radar fell silent. The woodpecker signal vanished from the airwaves, and the giant structure, once cutting-edge military technology, became a rusting relic. For years, DUGA stood abandoned as vegetation crept in and metal corroded. Yet it never disappeared. Instead, it became one of the most recognizable symbols of the Chernobyl exclusion zone, a monument to human ingenuity, fear, and the tension of a divided world. Today, DUGA is officially recognized as a historical monument of science and technology. It attracts photographers, historians, and visitors from around the world, standing as a reminder of an era when the future was measured in minutes and silence could mean survival.